Terry Masson, 35 years old, central midfielder from Arbroath. I work as a secondary school teacher in Arbroath as well. I've been here for 13 years now, so quite a long time. Before that, I was previously at Brecon City, Arbroath FC, and then coming through as a young player, both Dundee and Dundee United. Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest local teams close to where I'm from. So yeah, to get signed up from them from a young age was obviously a sign I was doing well. I wasn't quite able to stay there for as long as I'd maybe hoped, and then the next step for me was to move to part-time. At the age I moved to part-time, it was sort of becoming an adult, so found it hard to begin with. You know, if you're making mistakes, trying things on the ball that maybe aren't coming off, and then you've got, you know, 30-year-old men on your back, on your case. It's a big difference from maybe just playing with players your own age at youth level. So that was probably the hardest thing I found, the biggest sort of difference between sort of youth level and real men's football. Yeah, it's a funny game, but that's the way it works, isn't it? As you get older, you're the person that's then maybe try to guide the young players, and sometimes it'll come across as you're on their back, but you know, everyone goes through that sort of part of football. You're maybe young, naive, make mistakes, and then I think the older that you get and you've seen it all, you maybe just want to try and help the younger players, but sometimes it comes across as you're on their back all the time. But yeah, I think all the young players here appreciate the older ones. We've got enough of them, and they're generally good at taking on board the advice. Yeah, I mean, when I first signed for Montrose, it wasn't all success. We were one of the teams that were down the bottom of the league, even the league below. And then when the new manager came in, that's sort of the turning point for the club, where we started to have success. And yeah, we really got on from strength, moving through the league and then managing to get into the playoffs on a few consecutive seasons. And then I think now we're obviously an established club in League One. So yeah, I've seen a lot in my time. Yeah, there's obviously a few big moments. That one where we managed to stay in the league was a big one. I think we always, like, I'm asked this quite a lot, but the one I always go to is winning the league. I think there's not every player that makes it as a professional footballer manages to win a league, so that's something that's special. And then personally, I've had a few achievements, like I'm quite close to the appearance record now, so if I can manage to do that this year, then that would be great as well.
Staff member to the back door, please. That
was very convenient.
Just now, League One's the strongest it's ever been. It's full of full-time teams this year, and probably the teams that came up last year are stronger than the ones that left the league, so there's no easy games every week. It's really difficult just now, and I think to be able to achieve sort of playoffs that we've done in previous years, it's going to be as hard as it's ever been. So yeah, it's got lots of good players in it, and I think your likes of Falkirk and whatever, they're massive clubs. So to compete against them every week as a part-time team, it's very difficult.
But we're doing it.
Yeah, we are, and we have done, and I think probably even likes of those teams look at us and think we're a difficult team to play against. Obviously we don't have the finances that they do, but I think what we do have is a real togetherness and a good team spirit that maybe the bigger teams lack. I think as a young player, I always looked up to Paul Gascoigne. He was my sort of idol, but like personally, family member, it would be my dad that always pushed me, drove me to all the games and just gave me every opportunity to play. Obviously gave up a lot of his own time to make sure that I was travelled through to Dundee, made training probably every weekday after school, to be honest.
The sacrifice parents make just to see their kids succeed.
Yeah, I think so. I think whether it's leaving work early or giving up his weekend to take me to an away game, yeah, he's done everything he can really, so he would be the biggest influence on my career.
In terms of interest?
Maybe quite boring now, but I've obviously got a young family, so they take up most of my time. On the weekends I've got a wee girl, 5 years old, and a sort of newborn, if you like, 16 weeks old, so yeah, I think any free time I've got that's not football, I'm giving both those kids to entertain.
Absolutely.
Music-wise, I certainly don't get given the phone to come up with a playlist on match days, but I think I'm sort of mixed genre. I don't like one type of genre, but dance, as a teenager growing up, I was very much into indie music, so likes of Oasis and all that, but yeah, just now I'm quite open really. I would listen to anything, whatever the younger boys are playing. I'm happy for them to take control these days.
Always an education, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
In terms of movies?
Movies again, I can't even remember the last time I was at the cinema, so I'd probably be going to some of the old classics, things like Shawshank Redemption, yeah, sort of probably movies that I would have watched 20 years ago I would happily rewatch again.
In terms of places or holidays, where you've been, where you would like to go, where stands out?
When I was kid-free, used to go on quite a lot of city breaks. My missus isn't a sun worshipper, so used to often go on city breaks. I think the country I probably liked the most was Italy. I'd certainly go back there and maybe travel around to places I haven't been. But I really enjoy Barcelona as well. Haven't been to New York, that's one that's on the bucket list, so the minute I get a chance, that's where I fancy going. I think we've got a few characters in the dressing room. Paul Watson's really good value for humour. He's always in the thick of the banter. But I think up and coming star would be Craigie Brown. He likes being a bit of an entertainer. He certainly doesn't lack confidence, and he'll happy sort of stand up. But it's dancing, cracking jokes. He could hold the floor, no problem. So I'll go Craig Brown.
DJ.
I better not give that to Craig Brown again, because I've just given him it for the comedian. I liked Midge's playlist. It was more my sort of era, old school dance classics from probably the 90s, so I'm going to give him the DJ slot.
TV movie star.
TV or movie star? I think Blair's got the looks for the TV, but whether he'd be able to back it up with the verbal side, I don't know, but based on looks, I'll go Blair Lyons.
Entrepreneur, who's got the next big idea?
Entrepreneur. I actually find Andy Steves quite intelligent. I was teamed up with him on a trivia quiz one weekend when we stayed away, and he's very knowledgeable. So I think he's wasted in the football coaching game. I think he's worthy of a more intelligent career.
So who would be the football coach stroke manager of a successful Scottish team?
The football coach stroke manager. Again, Andy Steves lives, eats, breathes football. Whether it's watching a League 2 game or a Premiership game on a Sunday, I think every single day of the week he's watching a football match. And any conversation he's coming up with is all about football. I think he's just obsessed with the game, so I think it's a matter of time before he becomes a football coach.
And who would be the one that you go to life advice?
Go to for life advice? I think Sean Dillon would be full of wisdom. He's one of the most experienced players in the squad. He doesn't drink, so he'll always have a clear mind. I think he would be probably the most sensible person to go to for advice.
And last of all, message to Montrose supporters, what would you like to say to them?
I'd probably just thank them for all the support in the time that I've been at the club. There's probably a core group that go to every home and away game, and I think that's one, not an easy thing to be able to do, giving up the time, two, very costly, and yeah, three, very committed. So yeah, just thanks for all the support they've given me personally and the team. Yeah.